mass.gov.
557.
Keep going, all right. Now we're downloadable. Right there. Oh, I got two files, what one do you want? You get selectmen, you get planning board, you pick the ones you want.
Oh, I see.
These two are the same. You're not gonna get too many.
If it's the same word.
These were the five ones that are the same.
How many pages are there? Three or
There's
four?
four.
Yeah, it sounds a lot.
Four total,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. You don't know what to do with it.
Yes, four total, one is words, three are maps.
Jim, what's your phone number?
Oh.
603.
Okay.
Don't say that loud because you're live, please. Unless you will film on.
Thank you.
Nobody claims these are your trash.
You don't want India or China to call me out, or you know the words.
Oh, words.
Isn't that the new,
These words
series
together.
with Billy Bob Thornton? Manual?
Yeah. I've had that.
But you can't have it.
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody have three maps and one page with words on it? I see you making faces at her, I know.
I don't know what you give me.
I don't know what I gave you, that's why I'm
That's
asking.
what I have. I have no words, no words.
Oh,
Yeah, you do.
Where are they?
I see it.
Last page. Oh,
We have internet.
Yeah.
you stick it together.
GovernmentOversite.com.
All right, thank you. Good.
no.
Words.
Everybody else good?
Fix them.
Okay.
We have three different ones.
SIT.
Good silo. Next one.
Steve did a nice job there. Hand
As soon as Lee gets
colored.
back, we'll start.
This is Steve's work.
Right?
Oh.
All right, call the meeting to order, Town of Brookfield Planning Board, November 10th. Roll call, I'm Ed Ingles, I'm present. Marshall Goldberg. Here. Stephen Berry.
Here.
Leah Gage.
Yeah.
Mark Lofgren.
Here.
Jim Lowry.
Here.
Rich Sacker.
Here.
Everybody's here today? No alternates? We had, on the agenda, we had the public hearing, we've already had that at 5 o'clock. There was really no public comments of any kind, and there was a motion to approve the definition of noise, building permits for things that require building permits, and permits for special event clarification. According to Laura, she's going to report back to Hillsborough County, but it should be kind of the end of that for now, at least. I don't think we had any correspondence, nothing new, right? Let's go to the approval of the October 13th minutes.
Marshall did point out one error to me.
So it's on the second page there, little business owner.
Under the master plan,
Yep, yeah,
under us.
it's just a
That's the
typo.
only thing I see.
I think up above in the SRPC paragraph,
I'm listening.
the may and the will should be switched.
Gotcha.
That was all I had. Anything else, anyone? Make a motion to approve minutes of October 13th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have 7-0. Any public comments? Old business legal update. Kind of covered the Moose Mountain, that's enough said on that. I don't think we have anything else, do we, legal-wise? Rich, any other legal things going on besides Bruce?
I've been questioned about our zoning with respect to short-term rentals. So the selectmen are going through the zoning to see if we can find what the zoning has with respect to short-term rentals.
Probably
I don't think there is.
nothing happened.
That's the conclusion we're coming to, as you scan that.
Right.
So that seems to be under consideration by some people in town. They want to know that, make sure they're doing it right. And right now, we have no restrictions on it, as far as I can tell.
Right, just like we have no restrictions on how many people can be in a...
Illegal.
Yeah. So that potentially would be a citizens petition warrant article?
No.
Or, they're just asking the question.
What I want to suggest, they come to the selectmen's meeting, say, we're going to do this, and you have any restrictions on us? We'll say no, we'll put it into meeting minutes, so they have a copy for their file saying that the selectmen said go for it. So we've done with other home-based businesses.
Yep. Okay. So that's the only thing going on that we know about.
Yeah.
But that's not really legal.
No,
No,
sorry, it just,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, okay. Guess that's it on legal. Master plan, you get some comments back, right?
Yes, I do have, I think I have most everybody's stuff. Rich, I haven't seen anything from you, I don't think.
No, you didn't.
Okay, so that confirms that. I'll stop looking for it. I have not put everything together yet, though.
And we went through the language,
Yes,
and we took out shall and will, replaced it with may and should.
yeah, we got rid of must, any of them.
Yeah.
Are there any musts?
Maybe one, yeah. And then we got rid of any references to the RSAs, except for definitional.
Yes.
And I confirmed with Laura that that's good with her. So I'll get that over to her once we get those updates. The rules of procedure, does she have those?
She hasn't looked at them, and I haven't touched them in a long
That's
time.
That's fine.
We're going to send to Laura, I think you just said, the proposed warrant articles from Stratford Regional.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll get there.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
SRPC maps, so we just, Cameron, we got this from SRPC. Looks accurate to everybody that has looked at it. And there's also some questions about the actual boundaries down along the Middleton line. So we'll try to rectify that. I don't think it really matters all that much for purposes of the master plan map. Because the master plan really just informs the zoning ordinance. It's not a legal document. This map is not a legal document, really. But we do need to change these colors on here. Everything is pink except rec. And then there would be a 500-foot buffer for workforce overlay along the state roads. So that's how this map will hopefully change next time we get their version of it. I think that's it for all business. Any comments on any of that?
I should have some more maps in the week, in the next week.
All right.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay, proposed ordinances. We got this is in your packet. So there's two things in your packet. There's the original one that came back from SRPC that's, I don't know, 20 pages or whatever. Some of these don't apply to us. Like the floor area ratio type thing, we don't have that in our zoning, so I think you can table that one. Look at the shorter version, which is their version of what we should put in to ratify or accommodate, or whatever the word you want to use is, for all of the zoning House bills and Senate bills that came out of Concord this year. On your agenda, there's 6 of them listed. I think they deal with all of these in here, right, Leah?
Yes.
So we're going to just send that over to Laura, and she can look at it and modify, or, I think this will be our backup for our warrant articles. And I believe that in front of each one of these, there'll be a question, do you approve, do you ratify? We're gonna try to get some language that would indicate that they should be approved because it's a state law now.
So during our discussion, we had a little, and I won't go into the details, we briefly touched upon Stratford Regional proposals. She wants to see them. I'm not sure she agrees with these. So the sooner you can get them to her, the better.
Yep. Great. Yep, she said send them along, so we can do that right away.
I had two questions that were in there. I thought the ADUs were not to exceed 900, and it says 750 feet.
Our zoning is 750,
Ours?
yes. The state's is 900 or whatever it is.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to go to state? Okay.
I don't know, I'm just saying, that, yeah, that's the difference.
The other thing that was in there, it was talking about parking places per, and it was reduced from 2 to 1. I know for a fact in Rochester, we're just starting a new Habitat house there, and they have to have minimum of 2 parking places per unit. So should it, be at 2 and not at 1? Because if you have an ADU or any building, odds are you're going to have 1 or 2 or more vehicles. I think 2 would be more appropriate.
The state went to 1, I believe.
Yes, they did.
It's SB 284.
Requires a maximum of 1.5
Oh, I do have a question on that.
and a maximum of
Maximum number was 1.5.
right.
Now it's 1.
Yeah.
So maybe Rochester is in the position where they haven't changed their zoning yet, and they
No.
either have to or aren't going to, but they're going to allow
Yeah.
revert to the state.
I disagree with the state, but if that's what was voted in, then that's what we have to do.
Why are we 750 and not 950?
And I'm guessing that's what it used to be back in the day when they first did it, and we never changed it, but I couldn't verify that.
I'm also wondering why a manufactured home can't be used as an ADU. Because manufactured home doesn't have to be a trailer, it can be a tiny cabin and whatever. So is that in our zoning or is that in the
That's it.
law?
Well, manufactured home is different from a
Do you know,
trailer.
do you know the definitions of manufactured and modular homes? Manufactured home has a metal frame, and a modular home is a stick-built house.
That's built off-site.
Built
Right.
yeah.
That still doesn't say, like, why can't we use that as an ADU though? If I was to just purchase one and drop it, why do I have to stick build it?
Is that what I think our zoning says you cannot use manufactured homes, right? Is
I
that
think,
Now,
I'd have to look.
you know, guys, so manufactured homes, people used to think of the single-wide trailers, and that's what I think a lot of towns don't desire. Whereas the newer ones nowadays are 2 pieces, they come together, they slap them together. They look like a small ranch. Matter of fact, there's one in Brookfield just down the road.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know why you couldn't use one like that.
We do have the requirement for that 4-foot
Yep.
frost wall and all that kind of stuff, so it kind of looks more like a real house.
Exactly, yeah.
we got a lot of feedback on that one.
Negative?
Yep.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How
Yeah.
did that happen?
Yeah.
It's allowed. It was allowed. So,
I mean, you can put them on a regular foundation too, and
Yeah.
you wouldn't even
Yeah.
really know.
That's what I had in California.
Yeah,
It was a double-wide manufactured home,
yeah,
2 pieces, big foundation.
yeah.
So are you proposing we change something?
I propose that we take manufactured homes out of the prohibition of using them for an ADU. Because there are, I don't know, you can buy little tiny houses now and just truck them in and drop them wherever. Why do we have a prohibition on that? That's so easy.
We probably should,
I'm not saying we wouldn't want to stipulate or whatever, but
we probably should square away the definitions of manufactured versus modular before we change
Yeah.
anything.
And if you really want to, you can, single-wide manufactured homes.
I'm not sure you can do that.
Yeah. You might not.
can you
Well,
have a double wide that's not over the square footage though?
Yeah,
Sure.
Pretty good.
What if it's something along the lines of whether it becomes permanent or not? Is that?
Well, an ADU would be permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it becomes
Yeah,
permanent,
manufactured
it is.
would be permanent because they take the wheels out.
Right.
I think it says it has to have X number of square feet, the residence, and it has to be on a cross wall.
it has to be what?
A cross wall.
The frost wall is definitely a requirement.
It has to have a foundation. But other than that,
They put theirs on a slab,
that's right.
and that's probably where the rub came in. Because most people, if it was on a foundation, you could see, you might not even know it was, except for the trained eye.
Why don't we take this up at a later date?
Yep.
When I can control that from my laptop,
Sure.
rather than look through here, waste everybody's time. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, so anyway, we'll get this to Laura and get her feedback, put them together, and get that done. On the agenda, there's a couple others. I don't think, we have to ask her what to do about Class 6 roads also. You guys talk about that?
In detail, yes, in detail.
Okay, and?
We don't have to do anything. I talked to her in the parking lot. She
Well,
said,
that settles that.
she said we don't, if we can, if we want to, but we don't have to. It's not the law that we have to do something, is how I understood what she said to me.
I'm not talking about it because it's in council. She looked to you, you take it, go with it, what you heard.
That's all she said. It's just, we don't have to do anything about Class 6 roads unless we want to.
Right now.
Yeah.
And they'll probably change something again next year.
Sure.
Well, I would say if we don't have to do anything, we probably don't need to at this point.
I can ask again just to make sure when I send the rest of the stuff.
Anything from your conversation you want to share or no? No. All right, let's skip to the next one. So the rest of this, we didn't get any input from SRPC, and I didn't bring the original language I had, but we had talked about having an ordinance regarding signs for home occupation. I think in the last packet, if you still have it, and Leah could send it around again, there was some suggested language on that. The other one was requiring conceptual consultation before a subdivision or what have you. And that is, that's not a warrant article. That's in the rules of procedure, so we can change that as a board. We don't have to have a vote on that.
And I would think most people doing this, coming in for a subdivision would prefer that. They know kind of what the ground rules are ahead of time, and they can, fit their plan the way they want to see it.
Would anybody be averse to discussing that now and potentially getting a motion to change those rules of procedure?
For the conceptual?
At today's meeting, yes, so we can just get that off the agenda.
Sure.
Sure.
Any discussion on that? You think?
Well, I think
it's a good
I
idea?
think the paper, yeah, I think, and it saves time and money for the person coming in.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't want to do it,
Yeah,
and why we wouldn't want it.
exactly.
Right. Because it gives everybody an extra 30 days or what have you as well.
But it also gives people a heads up on what to expect.
Yeah.
They're coming in, they don't know what to expect if they, and you go, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you gotta do this, you do that, and then you have to go back to the drawing board again, whereas they come in for the conceptual, you have an idea what you're looking for, what you want to see, and they can bring the plans in, possibly get approval in the first meeting.
You want to do it for subdivision only, or you want to do it for anything that modifies the lot?
Subdivision and site plan review?
So I want to do a lot line adjustment.
I don't think you need conceptual consultation on that, really.
Okay.
Well, we could say anything that requires a final planning board decision could require that. But that's, seems like a lot.
It does. I mean, for boundary line adjustment, you're not looking at, can I build here, can I not build there, is it suitable? You just want, as long as both lots are conforming.
Mhm. And if they're not, you're going to be with the ZBA, not us anyway.
Right.
Any other thoughts on that?
I agree with that.
Site plan review? Would you, what about site plan review? Would you, technically Moose Mountain required a site plan review. Probably would have been a good idea to get a conceptual
Yes,
consultation
absolutely.
before,
Site plan reviews.
before all that stuff happened.
Yeah. Do you need a site plan review for building permit? You just need your plans and your septic design and
You don't need the planning board
No.
unless there's an issue.
So just for site plan review and subdivisions?
We can always change it again if we need to.
Okay.
So do you want to make a motion on that? To require, I'll make the motion, to require conceptual consultation for subdivision applications, potential subdivision applications, and for site plan reviews. And this would be changed in the rules of procedure.
I'll second that.
Any discussion, any further discussion?
Makes sense.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Leah, would you mind just adding, I can do it as well. We'll add the language that, and then you can send it along to Laura and just tell her we made that change. Rich, this driveway regulations, that was one of yours, so we require driveway permit to get a building permit, but we don't require a driveway.
I'm not sure anymore. When I'm going through the zoning, I thought it said in our zoning, every residence requires a driveway.
So the problem is they're in two different places, right? We have driveway regulations that sit outside the zoning ordinance, and then somewhere in the ordinance it does say, I think I sent you that little blurb, right?
So why don't we combine them in one place?
Yeah, I mean, we can't pull it out of the zoning ordinance without a
Right.
vote.
Right.
And we probably don't want our 3-page driveway regulations in the zoning ordinance, because then it just gets more, it gets longer.
So what is that, in the building codes or something?
Well, don't you really need to have an access from the road through the stone wall? So that's your permitted area. And then if you're gonna have a driveway after that, it can be, gravel, dirt, whatever. But you need to have the access off the main road.
The curb cut.
it's off a state road, the state can have issued
Yeah.
a driveway permit.
To the dwelling, right, to the dwelling.
Oh, I just want to get, the emergency vehicle beyond the stone wall. And then it's whatever, we decide upon for the rest of it.
When you get a permit now, does it run to the dwelling? Or does
No.
it just say you can have a driveway? Period?
There's room for a driveway.
That's all it says. And you can be 200 feet into the woods.
Yep.
But the zoning, we think, requires
A driveway to the dwelling,
driveway to the dwelling.
which I think is what we want. for
Right.
safety protection.
So they shouldn't get a building
Or
permit.
80 and ADU.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, that's the addendum to that. Now that you can build an ADU any place on your on your lot, you should have access to an emergency vehicle.
Yeah.
So we can clarify our driveway regulations without a warrant that says the driveway must run to the dwelling as well as any ADU on the property.
Yeah, if that works, I think that solves the issue.
Yeah. Without a
And
warrant.
then, you know, it's duplicative, but it's in the zoning as well.
As long as it says the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion on that?
Go ahead, Rich, make a motion.
No, you make the motion.
He made the big motion at the public.
Yeah, that's what-
You've been thinking about driving
Exhausted.
for so long,
You're
Rich.
the driveway guy.
All right, I make a motion that we amend the
Driveway regulations.
driveway regulations to include the requirement that a driveway is required to each dwelling / ADU. That's a dwelling.
Mhm.
Question? When you decide to vote or whatever.
If,
Can we get a second on that? And then we'll discuss.
Second.
Second?
if you use dwelling, that could be a garage, or don't we really want it to the domicile?
Dwelling's not a garage. Dwelling's where you live.
Okay,
So you have a detached garage with no driveway to it.
okay, okay.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
Steve, what did you have?
Just a question. You already have a driveway at your property. You're converting an ADU, which is converting a building next to your house that is 50 feet from that driveway, which your walk will obviously take care of getting from the driveway, existing driveway, to the house. Do you need another driveway? Is that what you're saying?
For emergency vehicles? I would
That's a good
say
question.
yes.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, my property is a perfect example.
Mine too, actually.
What does our existing driveway regulation say about that? Does it say it needs to be within X feet of the actual dwelling, or it doesn't say anything?
It doesn't say you need a driveway at all. That's in the zoning ordinance, and it's a one-liner, I think, or two. Would you want to amend that to say any new ADU?
No, because the issue.
No, because my converted in my barn would be a new ADU.
Newly built?
The issue is how close does the driveway have to be?
Right.
If you have a driveway within 20 feet, you need another driveway.
And I think if you read the ADU regulations, you cannot require anything more for an ADU than you do a regular residence.
So if we use the word dwelling, then that would cover, no, you'd need a driveway to the dwellings on the property.
But how close to the dwelling do we want to be?
Right.
100
Within
feet?
50 feet, 100 feet?
100 feet? I mean,
It needs to be for an emergency vehicle to approach the dwelling.
So we should define that though, right? That's soft.
Yes.
So put a number on it, 100 feet, whatever is reasonable.
50? In the middle, we'll go 75. I don't know. Somebody say something.
You can get within 100 feet, you're there. I mean, people can drink oceans that far.
exactly.
That's 30 yards.
They can do that. 30 yards, that's not that bad.
No, it
That's not that far. Here you go.
isn't. Or healthy.
Yeah. What if your access is from the lake?
Pardon me?
What if your access is from the lake?
Your access is from the lake.
How many people have just access from the lake? There's no public access to the lake.
There's a couple.
No, there isn't.
How do you?
We've had these
All-
arguments. There's none.
No, there's not public access, but there are homes that only can be accessed by the lake.
How do they access the lake?
Just asking the question.
You know and you're not saying.
But they're old. They're old grandfather places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All new places require a
Yes.
driveway.
Yes.
Right.
Does RSU define driveway in some way? That's beyond the local rules, it just,
RSA?
RSU,
Yeah.
RSA, I'm sorry, yeah.
Good question.
I'm sure they define driveway. We looked at that, right? There's a lot of definitions.
They have plenty. There's,
They have too many definitions.
pick one.
100 feet.
So this is, all it says in the zoning ordinance is a driveway is required for each dwelling. So if an ADU is a dwelling, that's already in there.
Yeah.
Yes, but the point is, if it's close to the main house,
So,
does it service, can you service
If
that
you're 20 feet
ADU?
away, why would you have to have another driveway? Why would you
That's
the
why
zoning
we need
says
to
we
have
have
that
it's a wide
stipulation.
zone.
100 feet.
But we have to change the zoning ordinance.
Well, if it already says you need a driveway for every dwelling, are we creating an issue that doesn't,
Because
We
we
make it up an issue
because
that
we
we don't
have
need
an
to.
example of somebody which.
well, it doesn't answer your
Well,
question, but it
I mean-
doesn't answer,
You could also go on what is reasonable.
right.
So the building inspector can go, well, you know, you got a dwelling here, but it's 100 yards from, the driveway is 100 yards from the house. That's probably not reasonable.
Yeah.
But if it's 100 feet from the house, well, that's reasonable.
You can always get a variance, so, you know, you could always go to ZBA, which you probably don't want to do, but you could and say,
You're starting to cost people money now.
it's 30
Right.
feet.
That's why I say, leave it up to the building inspector.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you get a building permit, isn't part of it, you have to be accessible to emergency vehicles? I don't know,
Not today, not today. Just get a driveway permit.
okay.
We don't have to regulations.
To the dwelling, just to the dwelling.
you know, just leave it to the dwelling and the inspector.
So given that the zoning ordinance says it's required for each dwelling, do you want to maintain your motion on the floor? Or should we table it?
Oh, I don't want to table it, we got to keep going with it. Let's, how can we get a building inspector to, how can we get the building inspector involved so he can make a call?
Well, it's in the zoning ordinance, in my mind, so he shouldn't give a building permit to anybody that doesn't have a driveway to their dwelling. And, you know,
That's in the zoning right now.
Yeah, a driveway is required for each dwelling, is what it says.
Could we put that the proximity of the driveway to the dwelling is up to the code enforcement officer in the driveway regulations without putting it in the ordinance?
Sure.
And that's where-
Something
That's where we're
thereabouts.
going, leave the zoning alone and give the driveway.
Yeah, and, you know, he goes over to Steve's place and he goes, oh yeah, it's right over there, it's not a problem. There's a walkway and it's clear and there's no trees or brush, it's fine.
That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
I think the issue is the word, the verbiage you're using. You're saying driveway, that tells me or tells the public that I have to have a separate opening. And it sounds like you're saying that you just need to make sure that the dwelling has access. So I would skip using the word driveway when you're talking about ADUs. They're still going to utilize the same opening they already have. But the CO or the building inspector is going to make sure that there's access to that dwelling. See, when you say driveway, people are getting that
But
opening.
that's in the zoning ordinance, so we would have to change that with a vote.
But also, you can have access via a walk to a house that's 150 yards in the back of your property, and that's not access for fire or emergency purposes.
Correct, but the building inspector should be able to determine that.
Exactly.
So we could change the driveway regulations to redefine driveway, I guess, for one thing. And then secondly, give the code enforcement officer flexibility to give the building permit, even though there's not a direct driveway right to the door.
Because they'll have to follow the International Building Code anyway, which is going to spell this all out, which is not what the planning board does. That's what he does. Thank you.
Wonder where we left that.
I don't know either.
We haven't voted on your motion yet.
So we're gonna
We want to restate the motion,
But the
or
discussion is to change the driveway regs
that's the motion on the floor? Right.
and not the zoning.
We could do either one.
Yes.
We would have to agree whether we want that as a warrant article.
So what we want, let me just see what we want. We want to be able to get emergency equipment to all dwellings. That's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Oh, and put that into the code.
Yeah, emergency equipment to all dwellings. Doesn't have to be a driveway, but you have to be able to get the fire truck close to all dwellings.
So we could modify the driveway regulations to say driveway means access
For
for
emergency
emergency
vehicles
vehicles.
to all
Code
dwellings.
enforcement is given the flexibility to give a building permit even though our zoning says a driveway is required.
If you want a motion that says that,
I'm not sure I could repeat it.
Playback.
So,
Remember that tape?
so we're gonna modify his motion, or we're
no, I'll
gonna
just pull it back.
pull it back?
Pull that
Okay.
one back. So we want a motion that says, modify our driveway permits such that an emergency vehicle can get to every dwelling with, here I need some help, with the discretion or with the approval of the building inspector, code enforcement officer.
Now, on state roads though, the state is giving those driveway permits, right? We don't? So how do we control
The
that?
building inspector's gonna give the building permit.
Right. So we have to work the building permit angle into it.
Why? We have to have access, whether it's a driveway or whatever,
Yeah.
to a dwelling.
Structure,
Dwelling,
structure, either one.
Dwelling.
structure's a barn, right? You can,
Yep.
that's
Dwelling.
dwelling.
What do you have for a motion there?
The old one or the new one?
The latest.
I
Page
didn't
two.
really hear a motion there.
Modify
What I-
driveway permits. such
Modify
that-
the driveway regulations to say that a driveway means access to all dwelling units for emergency services and equipment to be able to access said building.
That sounds good.
I got whether or not the driveway is close enough to
No,
a building is at the discretion of the building inspector.
At the
Oh, yes.
discretion of the building inspector.
Yeah.
I was getting there.
Well, we get rid of a couple of other words.
Would you put the first driveway in quotes?
Yes.
That a driveway in quotes
Yes.
means blah, blah, blah. One more time, please. For the tape.
A driveway means access to all dwelling units for emergency services and/or equipment to be determined at the discretion of the building inspector.
Sounds good.
Second.
I second.
I think you needed access in there.
I did say access. A
Okay.
driveway means access. It's the third word.
We have a second from Steve. Any further discussion?
One question. So this doesn't have to go to on the ballot, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
This is to go in the driveway regulations.
right, okay.
that we can change once we're done with this.
Yes.
They changed, as soon as we vote on this and it's approved, we can change it. Ready for a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, and we update that online first, right?
Yeah.
Steve's got that driveway guy, speed dial, coming tomorrow.
Oh, just to add, may I?
Absolutely.
The building inspector is going to probably go to the state fire code, which basically states that there has to be fire access, and it spells out the whole thing with
Yeah.
and access to it. So that's, again, what the building inspector is going to do. And it's the fire code.
Yeah.
I don't think we can override the fire code.
No. Noise ordinance.
Nah.
We just had a reasonable person type amendment to Moose Mountain. Do we want to have a noise ordinance? Do we need one? Or if somebody's being a pain in the neck, you just call Wakefield cops?
I agree with the latter, because we don't want to get in with a lot of science and decibels and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to do, especially when the bear comes through, or the elk, or moose. He's too noisy.
Any other thoughts?
I agree.
I agree too. I feel that it's not needed.
Okay. 2-acre overlay district. Steve, these are your maps.
There's not too much out there that would actually be done. Most people have, they've got 5 acres. A lot of them could split it if they could. One benefit would be Steve can make more money.
All right, recoup the $1 million I've already paid to you in my surcharges for having been able to subdivide 2 acres off.
So, help me with the maps. I have this one, the colored one.
Okay, the colored one was missing 1 page.
So
you
what's
have
the green though versus the red?
The green is areas that qualify to be split. I only considered, do they have frontage of 500 feet or more, and they are 4 acres or more. Those could be, in essence, split. True, you could go ahead and put in a road, and put in 15 units on some of these things. I did not consider that at all.
I'm sorry,
Sure.
what road is this? Where, I don't know what I'm looking at. Am I on?
That one is,
That one's Governor's Road.
yep,
So I'm supposed to look at all of these as a collection?
yes.
That's all of Brookfield.
Well, this is of no benefit because you don't know what the hell color it is.
Well, but this would be the town hall, I think, right here. These 2 pieces right here, just to give you a reference. These 2 pieces right here would be, on it. No, that one.
Putting them together.
Yeah.
Go like this?
These are the 3 right here.
And that one is over here.
This is your town hall.
Because Wakefield is there, Wolfboro is there. And, yeah. Okay. Wakefield. And you've got Wolfboro's way up there. This is coming down this way. There's hardly anything here that you could do. There's some red. Over here, this is Wakefield. You can hardly do anything here, except for right here.
And that is, what road is that? That is?
That's Governor, right here.
And that's Lavender's?
Oh, you got them on my plans.
Oh, shoot.
Don't worry about it, I'll get it out.
Yeah, it could be, I don't know. People
Okay,
say-
didn't break,
All right.
just spilled.
The red ones are,
You can't do it. Can't do anything.
so it's just the green ones.
Just the green ones. Are they any green?
Well, green can be subdivided currently, is that what that means?
Yes.
So the change that we're considering, well, it would impact it in that we could do 2-acre divisions instead of 4-acre divisions, 5-acre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two
And the
acres.
clear are less,
You can't touch. That's 3 acres or less.
oh, either way, the change would
Only the
affect
green
those.
can you touch.
Okay.
And then you've got a lot of marshlands and everything else.
So why don't we want to do this again?
There's words on the last page, we'll go through those.
Because we just changed it.
Yeah. Thank you. We just changed it the other way last year, but
Now we
I'm change it back. I'm trying to stick in my head around.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, can you make it clear what we're doing?
Yeah, thank you.
I have no idea.
Yeah. What I'm thinking about is using New Hampshire's smart growth and along Governor's Road and Wentworth Road, we allow 2-acre lots, not 5-acre lots. That way we would be able to, in essence, increase the population because we have a housing crisis, within New Hampshire.
Is that in the overlay for workforce housing?
It would be in the same,
Is that the same
it would
place?
be in the same place.
Okay, so you're addressing the workforce housing overlay
Exactly.
and making it more refined, correct? Is that what you're saying?
It would only be considered on those 2 roads. Those 2 roads are the state roads for Brookfield. Any other roads within Brookfield would maintain at 5 acres.
But isn't that already considered in
No.
the,
Well, this is not workforce housing though. This is general housing. It's within the workforce area, but it's not workforce housing that he's talking about.
Right.
okay. So if I wanted to just build a house in that area, he's saying that I could do it on a 2-acre lot. But if I'm a builder and I want to put a workforce housing district in there,
No change.
there's no change, it follows the state law, you do it the way they say.
Mhm.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, the existing workforce housing, well, we haven't come up with a proposal yet, really, but existing, as I see it, the existing workforce housing wouldn't change.
Correct.
This would be within that thing we were talking about on the map, and this would be a potential warrant article.
But are we allowed to build, or is somebody allowed to build just one house on a 2-acre in that area if it's specifically supposed to be used for workforce housing?
I'm looking right now.
Yes? Okay.
I don't know.
I thought that overlay was like set aside.
It's not exclusive. You
No,
can-
okay.
If you get a developer that wants to put an apartment building up, they can do that on one lot.
Now, with that 2 acres that somebody builds a house on, if it's a single person, does that go towards our workforce housing requirement?
What's their salary? What's their income?
Oh, if their income has to be a certain, okay, got it. You understand my question?
Mhm.
Thank you.
So if we want to support development, maybe we want to push,
Well, how many homes is that? I mean, what does that equate to in the number of potential homes one could build?
Since I did not take a look at wetlands and such like that, if everything that could be split up, and it would be, let's see, who did that? 25 homes?
So how confident are you in that number? Because if it's
Okay.
90 homes, I would
So-
say,
Okay.
I'll say this, if you restricted that to a depth so far from 109 or Governor's Road,
Well, I think you said you did.
It is, it has to be
You have to
connected.
be-
500
So you couldn't take this, let's say this is a 100 or 50 acre lot, and you wanted to put in a road and do 2 acre lots.
Right,
Well, you could only do it so many feet from
right.
the road.
Current zoning, here's the current zoning says, workforce housing dwelling is permitted on a lot of 5 acres or greater with 250 of road frontage and 500, within 500 feet of the road. And
Okay.
that's only on state highways.
And what's the definition of workforce housing?
Well, there's some, it can't be more than 2 stories, and there's a bunch of stuff that are defined in Appendix C.
4 units?
Oh, yeah, you can make multiple dwellings.
Well, it's got to be on 5 acres, but you can have no more than 1 unit per half acre.
Okay, so
So
10
you can
units
have
on
10
5
units.
acre lot.
So that takes these lots and you can really bring low income effectively.
Right.
Workforce
But
housing.
nobody's building workforce housing. This would allow,
Wolfboro is?
well, here.
No, not here.
I guess if we're trying to stimulate development,
Right.
then maybe we should do something to stimulate workforce housing. I mean, if that's where you want to go and try to create more dwellings, I mean, we got a lot of properties where we could stimulate some
But,
apartments.
okay, we've got one lot that's 247 acres, would only allow 3 parcels on there. Because
Not
you need...
workforce housing.
Oh, no, I'm not even considering that.
Well, that, I thought your thrust was to increase development for people, places to live.
Yeah, but not under the auspice
I
of
think
workforce housing.
we're projected to be 100 more residents by the year 2035. So that would fit in with this, but
I've got one spot, 247 acres. It would only allow 3 lots to go in there, 3 parcels.
Because of frontage.
Because of 250-foot access onto the road.
But they could do a subdivision.
Yeah, true, they could. I did not take that into consideration at all. I was limiting everything right down to the 2 roads when working in Governor's. So they had to have at least 500 feet road before they could try to split it. And total on that would have been, 55 if I went down through all of these. But figures there's already a house on most of these. There are only 13.
Well, I guess we should, I don't know what the impact is.
I'll make it on the map with only 1 page in color in.
But again, to your point, you have to do that analysis in the spreadsheet.
I went all the way down through all of those. Even at 10 acres, most of them only allow 2 parcels because of the road frontage. Some of the negative things on it,
Can we turn around and, let's go over the words page, positive and negative, and get that on tape.
on the negative, people have brought up added traffic. People quite often use highways, they come off of 16 heading for Wolfboro or whatever. They're using these 2 major roads anyways. There's going to be added police and fire protection. The negative, people want to look out for the rural atmosphere of Brookfield. Another negative I thought of, well water and septic usage. We don't have any town water or septic. It would be for the individuals. Increased school-aged people. But in the positives, we've got quite a few, we're trying to work around with some of the smart growth that New Hampshire's proposing. Financial profit to owners who can go ahead and subdivide, their 5 acres, 4 acres, and sell off a piece of their property. we'd be able to maintain the rural atmosphere because we've limited this conception to only 2 roads here in Brookfield. We're not adding any costs to Governor's Road or Wentworth Road because they're state highways. We'll add added monies to the town budget because we've got more housing coming in. We'll have more people to assist in running our town. And hopefully taxes should be reduced with the increased housing.
I know that.
I know, that's not what the study said. UNH did a study, it said it's the cheapest, the minimal impact, the minimized, what do I want to say this? To reduce the taxes, or to keep your taxes low, the UNH study said, keep it open land. That is the smallest impact on your taxes, open land.
Open land is not coming in, but we're demanding on more infrastructure.
All suggesting is I would strike that line, that it's going to lower taxes. That's not a given.
I gotta put an easy one in there.
I don't think we have any idea whether the the increased taxes from new housing is going to be offset by more kids and more police. I don't think we have any idea, because you don't know if families of 6 are going to move in or a retired couple.
We pay Wentworth tuition for the kids, and we pay each student, our charge is $25,000.
Okay, and one house brings in, what,
Each student is 25,000.
5,000? What's the average house bring in, 8,000 or something?
New Hampshire alone, for the state is only 10 or 12. isn't it?
Yeah, we're double, triple. It's 80-something, 8,600 or something.
Yeah, it's
So a reasonable Cape in town, maybe we get $8,000. I think that's high.
And if they have a kid, it costs you 25.
Just a math.
And then there's police and fire.
Yeah.
If they have a lot more calls, you get 50 more houses.
They don't bill us that way, but.
No,
yeah,
but
it would
when they
be-
renegotiate the contract, believe me, they'll
Yeah,
tell you how many calls they have every year.
that's why we pay so much attention to the roster of students that we're sending to Wolfboro, because of the charge. We want to make sure that the kids that are on that roster do indeed live in town.
Right.
It's a big number.
Isn't it like 70 kids? 70? 72 or
It was
something?
84, I think we got it down to high 70s now because we challenged.
Oh, I see.
So my feeling is that with, Ed and I were talking earlier about SB 84, which may require towns to go down to 2 acres. We don't know where that stands. It's in House Senate Committee right now in Concord. And the Senate passed it, the House passed their own version, they're talking about it. The governor hasn't signed it. I don't think we should do anything until we might be sitting here next year saying everything in the town's got to be 2 acres. I personally don't think we need to do anything right now on this, just to show Concord we're doing our part. But that's my opinion.
Is there any way an existing homeowner can get an exception to the rule now through the ZBA, or is it not something that you would really qualify for? Because I don't know how the ZBA rules work and when you're able to get an exception.
You can get,
Could you get an exception for lot size?
oh yeah.
For what reasons? I mean, we don't need to go through it all, but I just wonder if there's any opportunity for existing landowners to get around the 5 acre, for lack of a better term, through the ZBA.
Yes, they can.
You can definitely try, things like hardship, are you impacting the environment, there's a bunch of criteria.
There's 4 or 5 questions, I guess, that need to be answered to get a variance.
That, with all our rules, you can always go to the ZBA to get relief.
Not saying you're gonna get it, but you can.
Yeah, you can go there.
Right.
Talk to a different group of people.
with you then.
Okay. We can vote on it, we can, if you want to make a motion that we should have a warrant article,
No,
we can do that.
if the state is looking at that in terms of, demanding that everything drops to 2, then I'll take, my thoughts off. But maybe tell the state, only stick to state roads, not to town roads.
Call your rep.
Which one?
So,
All of them.
so for all these laws that we're not happy about, obviously we didn't voice our concern, or maybe somebody did, but to my knowledge, we weren't in the loop, I guess. And so how, Ed, on anybody, who should we be talking to put a little pressure on what we feel is the right thing for our town?
Our reps.
So is it McConkey and,
Email them, call them, put in comments during the public hearing phases.
so
You don't have to go to Concord to do that.
I would say we should get these guys in here next month or in 2 months or whatever and
We hit
talk about, I know we did, but,
We had 3.
we got no answers other than we
Well,
need a
that's
balance. We need a balance, it's a balance.
smiles.
Great. So, so I don't know how this game works, but maybe we need to learn how
Can
to
you send me all the names?
push it a lot harder because we seem to just receive what it is, but we're not in the front end of the process to
Yeah, that
All
would
the names and contact.
at least try.
So maybe what we should do, is I asked the one rep, or I guess he was the senator when he was here, how do you get feedback from the people in the various communities to understand what they want to have happen?
Right.
And he didn't give me a good answer, really didn't,
I agree.
right?
They ignore.
Come on, Ed, tell us.
So I think maybe we should write our reps a letter, asking them officially, how do we communicate the feeling of constituents to you to help you make the correct decision, an informed decision? Let's get something back from them in black and white. Here's how we take input.
Well, SRPC should be advocating as well, and I know New Hampshire Municipal's advocating
Well, they
against
did.
those Senate bills.
But they didn't listen to them.
No, they didn't. Yep, Stan.
Now, Rich, you remember, you were on the board with me. When I was on the board, I said the first step is you have to go to the website and look at the LSRs that come out. An LSR is what any state rep can go in and he goes to the attorney and he says, I want to do this, create me the law, and it gets an LSR number. And it comes out every year, you just look at the whole list and they're separated by committee. So all land use boards will hear, it'll go to the municipal and county government committee in the House. So you have LSRs, and you'll see which ones you may want to follow. I followed them because I was down there, and then I told the board that if you need to express as a board anything you feel about any of these bills, once they actually get a bill number, you then email the committee, and you state that you're the planning board, or you can do it individually, and you can tell them, and it goes to every single rep on that municipal county government committee who's going to vote to either ought to pass it or LTR it, which is kill it right there. And then the House votes on it. So that's what you have to do. You got to look at the LSRs first and look at all the land use things that people come up with, and you would know way ahead of time.
So
You
when
have
they don't,
plenty of time.
when they don't take your input or vote,
Just the way you want it.
yeah, what's your recourse?
That's the way the system
You vote
works.
them out. You gotta vote them out.
Well, of course, that's the answer to that one. But you have, and now they're videotaped. So if that bill's going to come through the board, you'll see the representation of that committee. It's like half plus 2 ought to pass that piece of legislation. So there are enough people that agree with you. But that's just the way it happens. If you don't like the way your rep voted.
I guess my frustration is with all the lobbyists out there saying, don't do this. They did it anyway. I mean, municipal association, a lot of testimony, we don't like this, don't do it. They voted it in. So you only have one option.
Correct. Well, first of all, for me personally, it's my opinion, those were all lobbying organizations. The representatives listened to the people, and the people said they wanted it passed, and it was like 52 plus 1. So that's just what happens. This is the system you're in. Those, just because the Municipal Association, who's a lobbying organization, goes in there and says they don't like something, it doesn't mean they don't have as much weight as you think.
So-
If people went, and people did, people wanted these changes.
I would
Just
add
you didn't want
two
to
things.
change.
I think there's a disconnect because the people, oh, housing's so expensive. And then the reps come up with these plans that work for Manchester because they have half-acre zoning anyway and a septic system. They don't work for Brookfield. And they just pass it anyway because all the people in the state live in Manchester, Concord, Salem.
Correct. That was the issue with a lot of things. The legislature had to make some kind of decision that it would affect all, because the legislature really can't just come up
I
and say,
understand.
Manchester, you're going to do this, Brookfield, you're going to do that, because it's not equal. So they had to, by law, make it equal, and that's
No, I
what they came
understand.
up with. But listen, bills can change.
And they did split it with septic systems versus not, but that's half-acre versus 2-acre, or whatever the land will support, according to the engineering studies or whatever.
Correct, but the main thrust of this conversation was that you feel out of the loop. And I've said this before, is that people are like, I'm like, how did you not know this was coming down the pike? You should have been able to email them and tell them, or call the rep. But emailing the committee is more important, because your rep may not serve on that committee. So they're not even
So
voting in
what's
committee.
the committee called?
It's usually the municipal and county government. And
Just, not for nothing, Ed, there were 55 housing bills between the Senate and the House last year. And I think 30 of them passed. Like, even to keep track of the ones that passed is a full-time job.
oh, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, it's difficult. But that's just how it is. So.
And how many people are in that, or on that committee, would you guess?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 15 to 17. And they're from all over the state.
Yeah.
So there's no value in trying to get similar municipalities within Carroll County, for argument's sake, that feel the same way we do. Is that what the lobby, what was his name, Brody? Is that what
Yeah.
he represents, all of the towns?
Well, everybody.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, if we went to 5 towns who agreed, is it more powerful to have 5?
oh, sure, if all, yeah.
Well, I don't know how it works,
Send
I'm
a
just
letter to them too. The selectmen could have, the planning board, you individually, you could have went to the committee and say why you don't like this, why you don't think it's good. And when you go down and you see what the state reps have to go through, you'll kind of understand why they make the decisions they do sometimes. But the committee is really important, because just like Congress, you have a group of people that see that bill and they pick it apart and they're really careful with it, but it's virtually impossible to make it perfect. And then if the board votes off to pass, it's going to go to that house. And if it's not left on the consent calendar, if it's put on the consent calendar, it's going to simply just get voted on. The House just says yes. But if some rep says, I don't like it, and they take it off the consent calendar, then the House debates it. And that's where amendments can be put on and everything. So the process is good. It's just that it's cumbersome. The bill's not, this stuff that they came up with is going to change. Somebody's going to put another bill in to make it and tweak it. Because the 2-acre minimum, that went to committee of conference, which is the House and the Senate didn't agree. We have a committee of conference that looks at the bill, and it didn't pass. Or, I'm sorry, it passed the committee of conference, had to go back to the House to get voted on, and then it failed there. So that never went through. So the system does work to stop these really strange things that you don't like, but you have to tell the committees how you feel. And you were outvoted, that's all. You may not like it, but so many other people on the board says, we need housing, and then they went and they passed this.
It should be up to the individual towns, not the state.
But we have Dillon's rule in the state, it's prescriptive law, it's not how it works. Because then you would have a patchwork of Soviets in different in different regions having completely different land use laws, it would be a mess.
We have Americans in different regions, not Soviets.
Well, that's what Soviet is, you know what Soviet is. I thought you'd get that.
Thank you.
All right,
It's off the board.
all right. I don't think we are in a position to set a date for the warrant article public hearing, but when's the latest? Do we have that in January sometime?
Yes.
It'd be great to have it earlier, but we're waiting on Laura, I guess, at this point.
Well, there's a couple of, I think, Lee, you can look it up. I
I
think
can double check
we have
the
to
dates.
post the date of the hearing by the 11th of January, I believe. So we have to post it by the,
But the selectmen warrant hearing, public hearing is different than our
Yes.
planning board. We
Yeah.
could have ours next week if we were ready.
no later than posting yours on the 11th of
Yeah.
January. The bigger issue, in my opinion, is we gotta get everything buttoned up for the town report. Or we go to the town report without the warrant. That's slop.
Yeah.
And we go to the printer, we'll go to the printer early in February.
Well, at this point, it's in legal counsel's hands, I think.
Yeah, but if she doesn't get back to us, we still own it.
I know.
Yeah.
But we can write the language without her looking at it.
Oh, yeah, we could.
It may be sloppy, but it is what it is. Okay.
I think we should be reviewing the text at no later than our next meeting. The text that
Yeah, December 8th.
we are going to present to the town, we should be reviewing that text at our next meeting.
So who's talking to her to stay on top of her to get it done? Because that was part of our problem with that letter to Moose Mountain. It took, 60 days. We didn't really keep our finger on the pulse.
You're going to send her
Let's
the
put it that way.
SRPC stuff. We'll ask her to get back to us by December 8th. We'd like to review the text, or at least draft.
Yes, I just warned you guys, I'm not gonna be here for that one. So,
Which one?
December 8th.
Well, shouldn't we tell her we want it by December 2nd?
Yeah,
yes,
by the end of this month, if possible. And then we nixed the noise ordinance, the 2-acre overlay,
But who's gonna?
and I can send you the sign language.
He's gonna call her in a week and say, are you on this thing?
keep rolling.
You have the sign proposed,
Yes,
Language
I
I
have
gave
a
you
note here
last-
to email to everybody.
yeah, and that was from last month's packet.
Yeah,
Okay? So you'll stay on her, and maybe before you're not here, remind me to call her? Or I'll put a note.
I'll try
call
to
her.
remember to remind you to call her.
That would be great.
We'll see how that goes.
Your memory's better than mine.
And that's before your surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Any other member comments?
time to eat.
Oh, on the thing we were talking about, Ed, on the recreational area, and the permitted uses and the conditional permitted uses, I recommend that in the permitted uses, what do we say, that we would add a sentence so that it makes it more clear, because people think if it's permissible, then it's permissible. It's done. It's
Oh,
on
we're
that
going
list.
down this road again, Marshall, come on.
Yeah, that's the point. We haven't changed the thing, and it's still, willy-nilly. So, I don't know if we add a sentence from the thing. I mean, if
We
nobody...
tried last year, and she said we don't need it.
Yeah, I know, but we take the heat because it's confusing.
So what can we do to clarify is your point?
Yeah, just a sentence. That
We don't
either-
need it, but can we put it in? We don't need it, but can we put it in?
Well, I don't know. I assume
If that
we can.
helps out the confusion, it would be best to do it.
We tried last year.
And she
almost
said-
there.
and she
She
said
said
no.
you don't need it.
Well, that's different than don't need it.
Big deal.
It is a warrant article that we would have to do, and she's gonna look at it and say we don't need it.
But that's
And-
okay.
And tell her,
That's fine.
legal says a lot of things. It doesn't mean we have to follow every single thing they say.
If it makes life easier, it clarifies, I think we should put it in.
Yes, I
So what is
agree,
the,
I'll
what is the
support it.
sentence? Sorry.
It's in the appendix, the permitted uses, it should say something like, subject to building permit requirements or something. And then the conditional use permits should say that that requires a site plan review. Or may require a site plan review. So that's the thing, it may or may not. It requires
That's
a
okay.
condition. Yeah.
In my mind, at least it clarifies, because when you read it, a permissible use to me means I can just do this.
Now that I understand the conditional use permit, I think it's clear. The following uses are permitted by conditional use permit in the rec zone, and there's a list.
Okay.
They have to apply for a conditional use permit. As part of that, we can require a site plan review. To me, and that's in the rules of procedure. So until you know that you have to look at the rules of procedure along with this and the conditional use permit application. If you know that you have to look at those three things, then it's clear. But if you don't, it's not clear.
Lawyers know to look, the average person does not know to look.
Right.
Right, that's the situation. And we get average people coming in assuming.
And the permitted one says what? That it's,
Permitted ones, yes. The following uses are permitted in the rec zone.
period, done. So I don't get it. Why is there confusion? I'm permitted to do any of those things, period.
They are permitted now, after this year, for the, the February hearing. But some of these have other conditions, like if you're going to do a rink, you need to get a building permit.
Okay, but again, all it says is they're permitted uses.
That's still not
They're
clear.
permitted uses.
100% I agree, it's not clear.
You'd have to put an asterisk by them.
Yeah. This one,
I'm with you on that.
conditional
That's
use
fine.
permit is fine, is clear. And we have other language that probably should be incorporated in here that came out of that hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not going to talk too much, but I gotta interject here. I thought you made the decision, or you had talked about, even though it says permitted, you were going to require a site plan review as a good thing, because just because it says, example, theaters, you want the person to come in and say all the details of it, so then you'll be better aware of, are you going to need to do the abutter notifications, or are you going to need to do, because just because it says a rink is permitted, there's other things that come with that.
Conceptual consultation is necessary for any permitted and conditional use.
I wouldn't say conceptual, because that means you're going to have to make a decision off the cuff that they need to do this, this, and this. I don't know why, so she said the lawyer said you couldn't, or you didn't need a site plan review for all that?
Not for the permitted uses, only for the conditional permit.
List one of the permitted uses again.
Hot air ballooning.
Okay, why would she say no to that? If you don't have a site plan review, where are they going to land?
They showed us
What
that
about-
on their diagram.
But isn't that a site plan review? A conceptual drawing is part of the site plan review.
Which we reviewed in the hearing that we had, and all that stuff was approved.
Okay, so you're saying that...
They showed us, it wasn't a great drawing, but they showed us the rink's going to be here, the hot air ballooning would be here, the soccer field would be here,
I mean, it was just a crayon.
But that's permitted. So why did they show you a drawing? That was the
At the
confusion.
time, we were doing a site plan review, which turned into a public hearing, at the public hearing.
Okay, so she said you don't need a site plan review for permitted uses.
I believe that's true right now, for anything that was approved in February, whenever it was.
I'm not speaking just for them. I'm talking about in general.
Oh, no, in general, if you have a land use change, it is required.
Okay, this is only for the rec zone.
Appendix E only applies to the rec zone.
Okay. And they don't need to come in and tell you if it's permitted. Just to repeat it again. If they say balloon.
I'd have to read the exact language from what was agreed to in February.
And just to repeat, she said you do not need a site plan, you cannot force them to have a site plan review if it's a permitted use.
If they need a building permit, code enforcement gets involved, but that's correct.
But not if it's
I don't think so.
ballooning.
I'd have to reread the decision.
Okay, I just think it would be a good idea to have a site plan review. And I don't know why that would be a bad thing, because that way you know as a board what the scope is. See, just saying permitted ballooning, what's the scope of it? Are you gonna have 50,000 balloons landing on the field? How many people are gonna be there? Do you have, all these other things go with it. I don't know why that would be a good thing. Then they would come in and they would do that.
I agree.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand, that's all. Because I'd be
Any
confused.
insight?
I think it's confusing. Whatever we could do.
It's confusing. It is confusing.
I mean, if you gotta go back and read the legal documents to see what's required, that indicates to me
A site plan review.
it's confusing.
I have a question. Are they required to have an event planning permit or some kind of permit to have their event there?
All depends what type it is.
Depends what it is.
All depends what it is.
If it's on this list, no. If they want more than 92 parking spaces, yes.
Is there a concert on that list?
No, there's club meetings.
Okay.
There's, I don't know, you'd have to look at the list, but, and I don't think this is exhaustive, but this is, I believe this is more than what was actually approved, so you'd have to look at the original language. This is just an old Appendix E, it's, I don't have the one in front of me, so. And then, again, it's confusing, zip line. It's up to the code enforcement, do they need a building permit for a zip line?
I don't think so. Just they're gonna build a tower and zip line from.
It's not up to us, it's up to code enforcement,
Mhm.
or maybe there's a state regulation on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's confusing.
So,
You good? Anybody else?
Is that the most current list?
No, this is just my
Okay,
book from a year and a half ago.
okay.
So I'll go through all the hearing decisions for the 3 Moose Mountain hearings and put them into one thing and email them to everybody, so y'all have them, and then we can decide what to
okay.
do about the language.
See, we don't need them, the public needs them, right? It's gotta be so that the people who look at the document can make an informed decision.
What's online now for this appendix C, do you know?
Probably what's in front of you.
Yeah, so that needs, and then it says like check with the clerk or something for the most current. I don't even know if that's out there, so.
Okay, if you can find it or manufacture it, just let us know,
Yeah.
because I'll take and play with it.
Cool.
Okay, I'm done.
All right,
Me too.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll accept that, 7:21, close the meeting.